Hello. Yeah, a video after a long time. The reason being, today is the day when Luis Elizondo book got released, the most awaited book called Imminent. What did I do? I immediately read the whole thing. Yeah, so I'm excited to share some of the interesting points I found in the book and just like give you kind of a brief outline of what you can expect in the book. So he kind of starts with a brief background of his personal thing, where like something where like okay, you get to feel like okay, who is Luis Elizondo is, and then he shares the experience of how he got into this topic, how he was kind of recruited, and it wasn't like something oh yeah the first day he got into this kind of program, but it was something where he eventually was taken into this. And yeah, the other part where he does explain or he comes up with his part of hypothesis on how these UFOs travel this fast and how they kind of go through transmedium without impacting or even making any splash when they go from space to a water medium. So these kind of interesting hypotheses he was explaining, and he also briefly spoke about remote viewing in his book, and yeah, that was a short chapter, I believe, right in the beginning of his book. And the most interesting thing for me was he did share his personal first-hand experience with a UFO. This is something again we all know about this phenomena called hitchhiker effect, where someone has an interaction with a UFO, and then certain strange phenomena start to follow them even after they go back home or go elsewhere. So something like that happened to Luis Elizondo at his home while he was actively working in the ATIP program. And this was something where his wife also experienced along with him, also his kids, not just kids, like even his neighbors. So that's like really a strange kind of a phenomena to see. And before we dismiss, okay, something was going on just in his house. The people who were working with Luis Elizondo during that time, they also were noticing this, even though they were in completely different location in US. So he talks about another interesting project they tried, but yeah, so eventually they couldn't get the approval. But the project was something where they lure in UFOs using some nuclear material, because we all know for some reason these UFOs get attracted to anything which has to deal with nuclear. So they thought, okay, let's build some kind of a fly trap for nuclear, using a nuclear material just to attract these UFOs. And for some reason, they didn't get the approval, and the project was abandoned. But still, interesting thought, right? And another incident he was explaining was something to do with the US military tank. So he said this was a tank which it's kind of the state of the art, the best in class of US military tank which they have. And for some weird reason, they saw a hole which got drilled through the tank. And it's not like, when I say drilled, it's not like something where someone came and drilled it just like happened just without anyone noticing. But just before that, there was an orb which was, or a UFO which was spotted right above the tank. And yeah, and it was like something like someone used a cookie cutter and just took some sample material through the tank, even though this tank is supposed to be so heavy and the material is so thick where you cannot easily do that. And something like that did happen, and I felt like that was an interesting incident which he shared in his book. So he shared a lot of quotes, but just to cite something which I personally felt which was interesting was something where he talked about how sometimes people say UFO defies the laws of physics, and he says like it's not the right statement, because the better statement is it doesn't defy the laws of physics, it just defies our current understanding of laws of physics. So there is a lot for us to still know and learn. So that's a powerful statement which he had in the book. And and then he goes over how he managed to get these gimbal, tic tac, and go fast videos out to the public, because this is the one which really started this whole UFO disclosure movement in 2016. So it was really interesting to understand what he had to go through, what went behind to get this done. And also he shared a lot of things in terms of what kind of reprisal and issues he had to face, and which also eventually forced him to resign, because he had to make a choice between if he just stays in his position, he has to just go through the bureaucracy and keep this secret. But the other option is to disclose by coming out, and to do that, like, he had to resign from his position. And in a way, he went through a lot of difficult situations to get all this information. So people who just think that he just he just came out and just had everything smooth and just wanted to make money. No, I don't think that's what was happening. He had to struggle a lot before where he is now right now. And other than that, he was continuing to work on a lot of background bill or procedures to help the government to form this UAP bill, which is something which was partially kind of signed by the US president, and also something which is again making the second round with Schumer and round amendment in the UAP, which is still in Congress. Hopefully that gets passed, but this was something Luis Elizondo did help in putting all this information in. So overall it was a really good read, and I would highly recommend anyone who hasn't already purchased the book. Please go and take your time and go through it. Thanks.